"You don't own me. There's no ring on my finger." That's what my Twitch streamer Fiancée said when I questioned her flirty donor act, so I gave her simps the receipts they paid for. What's up, Reddit? Throwaway for obvious reasons, because this shit's about to get messy. Never thought I'd be one of those guys airing out relationship drama online, but here we are. Dating a content creator turned out to be the dumpster fire people always joked about. Except this one came with ring lights and affiliate links. I, 29 male, work in finance, just analyzing spreadsheets and dying inside a little more each day in my cubicle. Normal job, decent paycheck, boring life. Then I met Lexi, 27 female, 2 years ago, and everything went from zero to what the actual duck real quick. It all started at my buddy Jake's housewarming party. His new place had this sick rooftop deck overlooking downtown, and he invited basically everyone he knew. I was chilling by the snack table, where all the socially awkward finance bros hang out, when this girl walked in who literally made every dude in the room do a double take. Lexi wasn't your typical hot girl, not like Instagram model fake. She had this effortless vibe that made her stand out. Purple hair, which I'd normally find kinda cringe, these intense green eyes, and she was tall, like 5'10" in flat shoes. But what really got me was when she started talking about the economic implications of NFTs with Jake's tech buddy. Like, actually knew her shit. I ended up in their conversation circle, and somehow we got from crypto to anime to our shared obsession with these obscure Japanese indie games. Before I knew it, it was 2 a.m., and we were the only ones still having an actual conversation, while everyone else was either passed out or doing stupid party shit. Got her number, started texting that night when I got home, and we didn't stop for like 2 weeks straight. Our first date was supposed to be coffee, but turned into this 14-hour marathon where we hit up this hole-in-the-wall ramen place, checked out an art installation, walked around the lake, and ended up watching the sunrise from my car at this lookout point. No hookup, just talking until our throats hurt. I'll admit, I was hooked early on. She was sharp, funny, and different from the usual. At first, it felt like I'd finally met someone who matched my energy, not just another Instagram clone chasing clout. I'd find myself checking my phone constantly during work meetings. My buddy Tom actually called me out. "Dude, you're acting like a 16-year-old with his first girlfriend." He wasn't wrong. Found out she was trying to make it as a Twitch streamer. Had maybe 10,000 followers at the time, mostly playing Animal Crossing and doing just chatting streams. She had this whole aesthetic going. Pink gaming chair, LED lights arranged in cloud shapes, kawaii headphones, the works. Not really my scene. I play FPS games, but never got into the streaming world. But I thought it was dope she was building something for herself. Our first few months were honestly the best relationship I'd ever had. We'd stay up all night talking about everything and nothing, go on random road trips to weird tourist traps, and just clicked in a way I never experienced before. I remember this one night, about 3 months in, we were lying in bed after watching a movie. She turned to me and said, "You know what's weird? I've never felt this comfortable with anyone before." And I believed her. That's the thing about manipulators. They're really good at making you feel special right before they start chipping away at your boundaries. Then came the first red flag, waving so hard it could have generated electricity. About 6 months in, she started making these casual comments about my Instagram. "Why do you follow so many thirst trap accounts? Do you really need to like bikini pics of girls you don't even know?" At first, I laughed it off, but she kept bringing it up. Eventually, she straight up told me to unfollow all these fitness models and influencer girls. Made me feel like some kind of perv when I was literally just following normal accounts that occasionally posted gym selfies. But I figured whatever, not worth fighting about. So I did a mass unfollow of like 50 accounts. I pushed back at first, told her they were just gym accounts and not that deep. But eventually I gave in, just to keep the peace. Figured it wasn't worth the argument. In hindsight, that was her first power move. She was checking too, would literally scroll through my following list every now and then to make sure they were all gone. I remember sitting there watching her scroll through my account, thinking, this seems a bit excessive, right? But then she'd look up with this smile and say, "I just want to be the only girl you're looking at." And somehow it would seem romantic instead of controlling. That's how they get you, man. Meanwhile, her Twitch was starting to pop off, hit like 25,000 followers. I was genuinely stoked for her. Went all in on supporting her. Dropped serious cash helping upgrade her setup. Professional lighting, 400. Broadcast quality mic, 350. 4K webcam, 250. Even built her a custom gaming PC, 1,000 or 800, so her streams wouldn't lag. Painted her streaming room the exact shade of lavender she wanted. added sound dampening panels so neighbors wouldn't complain, the whole nine. And she was appreciative at first. Whenever she'd hit a milestone, I'd bring her favorite boba tea or take her out to celebrate. I was her biggest fan, mod for her channel, always in the chat, hyping her up. There was this one stream where she hit 25,000 followers, and she actually teared up and thanked her amazing boyfriend for all his support. That was the last time she ever acknowledged my existence publicly. I didn't realize it then, but as her numbers grew, I was becoming a liability to her brand. Fast forward about 8 months. Her channel was absolutely blowing up. She hit 40,000, then 50,000, then 60,000 followers in like a 4-month span. Started getting legit sponsorships from gaming companies, peripherals, energy drinks, even some makeup brands. I was genuinely proud of her hustle. Girl was putting in work, streaming 6 to 8 hours daily, networking with other streamers, always engaging with her community. I remember this weird dinner we had with another streaming couple. The guy, let's call him Mick Drop, was about my age. His girlfriend, Cutie Kitty or something equally cringe, was a streamer with about 100,000 followers. Throughout the entire dinner, Mick Drop barely spoke. When he did, Cutie Kitty would cut him off or correct him. I remember thinking, damn, that's rough. Glad Lexi doesn't treat me like that. On the ride home, Lexi couldn't stop talking about how smart Cutie Kitty was with her brand management. Did you see how many subs she has? And those sponsorships? She really knows what she's doing. I nodded along, not realizing I was looking at my future. Her stream persona evolved too. What started as casual gaming with commentary morphed into this whole gamer girl next door who might just be your future girlfriend vibe. Lots of winking at the camera, giggling at every dumb joke in chat, calling her viewers babes, and blowing kisses when they donated. The lower the neckline went, the higher the donations climbed. Look, I'm not some controlling dickhead. I get that certain aesthetics and personalities do better on Twitch. It's entertainment. But then I started noticing her social media was getting, let's call it, strategically misleading. Her Instagram bio changed to single AF with a link to her Amazon wishlist. Her Twitter had DMs open for fun chatting, and she'd respond to flirty comments with heart emojis. I tried to bring it up one day when we were out grabbing lunch, just a quick bite between her editing breaks. She had her laptop open, half listening while tweaking some thumbnail for her next stream. So, when did you become single AF on Instagram? I asked, trying to sound chill, even though I already knew the answer. She didn't even flinch. It's for growth. Guys engage more when they think you're single. And the bio on Twitter? That part of the strategy too? She rolled her eyes. Yes, babe. It's just how the platform works. It's not personal, it's business. They donate more when they think they have a shot. That line stuck with me. Like I was supposed to be cool with her faking availability to squeeze more cash out of lonely dudes. I let it slide in the moment. Told myself it was her career, and I needed to be supportive. She'd moved in a while back. Made sense at the time. I gave up my office so she could have her little streaming setup, even helped trick out the room so her content sounded clean. But somewhere along the line, I stopped being part of the picture. No more mentions of me. No photos, no stories. My existence didn't fit her brand anymore. That's when it hit me. I wasn't a boyfriend. I was a behind-the-scenes convenience. And that was starting to feel real damn inconvenient. Suddenly, I wasn't allowed to be in her Instagram stories. No mentions of having a boyfriend on stream. No pictures of us together on any of her socials. If we went somewhere cool, like this hot spring we hiked 6 miles to reach, she'd post solo shots that made it look like she went alone or with girlfriends. When I asked about it, she'd say, "My brand is being available and relatable. Tagging you kills the fantasy for the viewers. These guys don't want to be reminded I have a boyfriend." I remember standing at that hot spring, watching her take selfie after selfie, carefully angling the camera so I wasn't in any of them. We'd just hiked for 3 hours together, I was carrying most of our gear, and I realized I was essentially a pack mule who wouldn't even get photo credit. That feeling stuck with me. Useful behind the scenes, but never part of the show. She became increasingly protective of her phone too. Always face down, always with her, even for a 2-minute bathroom trip. If I walked in while she was texting, she'd switch apps so fast you'd think her screen was on fire. "Just business stuff," she'd say. "Boring streamer things you wouldn't understand." There was this one night when she fell asleep on the couch, and her phone kept lighting up with Discord notifications. I'm not proud of this, but I looked. Message after message from guys with usernames like Your Secret Admirer and LexiLover69. The messages I saw weren't explicitly sexual, but they were definitely intimate, talking about how they couldn't stop thinking about her, how her voice helped them fall asleep at night, How they felt like they really knew the real her. I didn't scroll far, just put the phone back, didn't even confront her about it the next day. Why? Because I was already doing that thing where you gaslight yourself before they even have to. It's just part of streaming culture, I told myself. They're just parasocial weirdos. She's not encouraging it. Meanwhile, I'm watching my girlfriend essentially run a digital hostess club, flirting with dudes for money, while I'm scrubbed from her online existence. But she was making good money now, sometimes pulling in $5,000 to $6,000 a month between donations, subs, sponsorships, and whatever the hell else. I didn't want to be that guy who messed with her bag over what she insisted was just marketing strategy. Plus, when we were alone together, which was increasingly rare as her streaming schedule expanded, she was still the same Lexi I fell for. There was this weird dual reality we were living in. In private, we'd cook dinner together, binge shows, talk about future plans, normal couple stuff. But the moment she went into her streaming room, it was like I ceased to exist. I'd hear her through the wall, using her stream voice, higher pitched, more giggly, constantly saying things like, "No, I'm totally single," or "Maybe I just haven't found the right guy yet." I tried to compartmentalize it. It's just a character she's playing, I'd think, like an actor in a role. But then why did it hurt so much every time I heard her deny my existence? Then came Valentine's Day. That's when everything started to change. I'm not usually big on commercialized holidays, but I wanted to make it special for her since she'd been working so hard. Made dinner reservations at this Japanese place she'd been wanting to try. Bought her this amethyst necklace she'd been eyeing for months. Dropped $400, even cleaned the apartment and set up this whole romantic scene with candles and shit. Real effort, you know? That morning, I'm working from home when there's a knock at the door. Delivery guy with a massive bouquet of roses and a teddy bear holding a heart. My first thought was, shit, did I accidentally order two gifts? But the card read, "To my secret crush, you always know how to make me smile. XOXO your Lexi." It wasn't for her. It was from her to some guy called Dark Knight. Standing there with that card in my hand, I didn't even feel angry yet. Just cold. Like I was finally seeing the version of her she hid behind ring lights and donation goals. Like, who the hell sends Valentine's gifts to another dude when you're in a committed relationship? The secret crush part especially twisted the knife. When she woke up, she slept until noon most days after streaming until 3 a.m. I asked her about it. She laughed like I was being ridiculous. "He's my top donor. Gave me like $2,000 last month alone. It's just business, babe. He gets a $30 gift. I get another month of rent covered. It's smart marketing." I tried explaining how fucking weird it felt. Her sending Valentine's gifts to some random dude while we're living together, while I'm planning our Valentine's celebration. "You seriously don't understand how content creation works," she said, rolling her eyes. "Every girl on Twitch does this. It's not like I'm actually into him. He's probably some 40-year-old basement dweller who lives with his mom. Here's the thing. I worked in finance. Literally, my job to understand ROI and client relationship management. But there's a line between business and whatever the hell this was. The Valentine's dinner was tense, but we moved past it. She loved the necklace, said all the right things. But something in me just shifted. I had enough. For the next week, I couldn't stop thinking about it. More red flags started becoming obvious. How she'd schedule her streaming breaks around when certain donors were most likely to be online. How she had different pet names for different high-value simps. How she'd come to bed at 4 a.m. after a stream and immediately curl away from me to text someone. It all came to a head one night when I asked if we could take a weekend trip together, just us. She immediately said she couldn't because she had scheduled content to create. "Can't you just tell your viewers you're taking a weekend off?" I asked. Her response knocked the wind out of me. "Look, I don't have a ring on my finger, so you can't really control who I talk to or what I do with my time," she snapped. "My followers pay our bills. You want me to prioritize you? Put a ring on it." I sat there stunned. Was she actually suggesting that I had to officially lock her down before she'd respect our relationship? "Are you saying you'd change how you act with these guys if we were engaged?" I asked, genuinely curious if that would make a difference. She softened a bit. "I mean, yeah. If we were really committed like that, obviously things would be different. But right now, I'm building my brand, and being single and available is part of that brand." In my idiot brain, a little light bulb went off. Maybe she was right. Maybe we just needed to formalize our commitment, and then she'd set better boundaries with her simps. Maybe she was just insecure about where we stood. So I did it. I proposed. 2 weeks after the Valentine's Day incident, I bought a ring. Not some cheap thing either. Spent 3 months' salary on a princess-cut diamond with a custom setting. I planned a weekend trip to this mountain cabin, got everything set up perfectly. When I got down on one knee, I actually believed this would fix everything, that the ring would somehow transform our relationship, make her see how serious I was, and she'd finally start respecting my feelings about her online behavior. She cried when I proposed, said it was the happiest day of her life. For that weekend, it really did feel perfect. We talked about future plans, about maybe buying a house together, even about what our wedding might look like. No streaming, no donos, just us. The drive home was when things started shifting back. She was already on her phone, texting her mods about upcoming streams, planning content. When we got home, she immediately went to her streaming room to catch up on stuff. I thought maybe she just needed to check in with her community, let them know she'd been away. Totally reasonable, right? Then I noticed something that made my stomach drop. Her ring was sitting on the bathroom counter. She'd taken it off before going to stream. When I asked her about it later, she said, "Oh, it catches the light weird on camera. Plus, I don't want to deal with a million questions about it right now." That should have been my first clue that nothing was going to change, but I was still high on the engagement, still convinced we'd turned a corner. A week passed. The ring spent more time in its box than on her finger. Her bios still said single AF and looking for my player too. The late night voice calls continued. Nothing had changed except now I was out several $1,000s and feeling like an even bigger fool. Then, one night while she was in the shower, I noticed Discord notifications popping up on her streaming PC. Something about a VIP server I'd heard her mention on streams but knew nothing about. I clicked on it. What I found made me physically nauseous. It was a private server with about 15 guys, all her top donors. The chat was full of selfies she'd never posted elsewhere. Nothing explicitly sexual, but definitely suggestive. Low-cut tops, pouty faces, those half-smile bedroom eyes. She was sending voice messages calling them babe and sweetie. One guy, Commander Cash, kept referring to her as my girl in the chat. And she'd reply with shit like only yours in Discord or don't make me blush, Commander. Another dude was planning to fly to our city and she was helping him pick a hotel. Can't wait to finally meet you in person. I scrolled further and found private voice chat logs. Hours-long sessions, sometimes until 5 a.m., with individual donors. The logs didn't show what was said, just the duration and participants. But I saw my now fiancé had spent over 3 hours in a private call with Dark Knight just the night before, after telling me she needed to edit some stream highlights and couldn't come to bed. The worst part? A chat from just 2 days after our engagement, where she sent a voice message saying, "No, nothing's changed in my life. Still single and loving it. You know you're the only one who really gets me." This while I was in the other room, planning our ducking engagement party. Hell nah. This wasn't marketing. This wasn't business. This was actively cultivating fake romantic connections with multiple men, while living with me, while engaged to me. I sat there in her gaming chair, staring at the screen, feeling like someone had punched a hole through my chest. That's when something inside me just snapped. Not in a rage way, but in a clarity way. Like when a fever breaks and suddenly everything is crystal clear. I didn't confront her when she got out of the shower. Didn't yell or make a scene. Just went to bed early, mind racing with what I'd discovered. She didn't even notice anything was wrong, too busy getting back to her real relationships with her donors. But the old Tyler, the one who made excuses for her, who believed her lies, who kept hoping things would get better, that guy died. In his place was someone who wasn't going to take this shit anymore. I woke up the next morning with absolute clarity about what needed to happen. No more confrontations that would just end with me apologizing somehow. No more believing empty promises. I was done. But I wasn't just going to walk away quietly. Not after everything. She deserved consequences. And those simps deserved to know the truth about who they were throwing money at. First step in my revenge. I followed back all those fitness models and influencer girls she'd made me unfollow. Petty? Absolutely. But it felt good to reclaim that tiny bit of control. She noticed within hours. "Why are you following all these sluts again?" she demanded over dinner. I looked her right in the eyes and said, "Just expanding my social circle. It's just content, right? Not like I'm actually into them." The look on her face when I threw her own logic back at her was priceless, like she'd been slapped with a cold fish. "That's different and you know it," she hissed. "How?" "You're cultivating relationships with multiple men who think they have a special connection with you. I'm just looking at some fitness posts. Seems like you're the one crossing lines, not me." For the first time ever, I didn't back down or apologize. Just stared her down until she looked away first. The power dynamic had shifted, and she knew it. She stormed off, slammed the door to her streaming room, and started a surprise stream where she vaguely complained about unsupportive partners for 2 hours. Got about $500 in sympathy donations. I listened to the whole thing from the kitchen, laughing to myself while making a detailed plan for what came next. Then I started focusing on myself, hit the gym 5 days a week, reconnected with friends I'd neglected, picked up my old hobbies, basically acting like I was single while still living with her. And man, it drove her crazy. "Why aren't you watching my streams anymore?" she'd ask, clearly annoyed. "Super busy with work," I'd say, not looking up from my book. "You used to leave supportive comments. Thought you wanted to keep our relationship private? Wouldn't want to ruin the fantasy for your fans?" The less attention I gave her, the more she demanded. Classic narcissist move. She'd walk around the apartment in increasingly revealing outfits, trying to distract me from whatever I was doing. When that didn't work, she'd pick fights about nothing. The dishes, the thermostat, how I loaded the effing dishwasher. I remember this one night, I was heading out to meet Dave for basketball. She came out of her room in lingerie, tried to convince me to stay home. For the first time in our relationship, I wasn't interested. Just said sorry, already committed to the guys, and left. The look of absolute shock on her face was better than any form of revenge. She wasn't used to not getting her way with me. But I wasn't just mentally checking out, I was building a case. Because I wasn't just walking away, I was going to show her donors exactly who they'd been simping for. So while focusing on my physical and mental gains, I started gathering evidence, created a burner email, used it to make accounts on all her platforms, even bought a prepaid Visa card so the donations couldn't be traced back to me. I joined her Discord servers, both the public one and eventually finessed my way into the VIP one by strategically donating just enough to get noticed. Picked the username Phoenix Rising, LOL, that's so stupid, and crafted this whole persona of a successful but lonely tech entrepreneur who worked too much to date. I even set up a voice changer for the few times I needed to speak in Discord calls. Honestly, creating this alter ego was weirdly fun. Phoenix Rising was confident, slightly mysterious, and just vulnerable enough to seem authentic. I'd drop hints about my successful app development company and my empty penthouse apartment. Lexi ate it up, fresh whale in her donor pool. For 2 solid months, I documented everything. Screenshots of her telling different guys they were the special one. Clips of her streams where she'd explicitly say she was single and looking for the right guy. Discord messages where she'd coordinate private gaming sessions with top donors that were really just thinly veiled flirting sessions. One particularly stomach-turning discovery. She had a Notes app document titled Donor Facts, where she kept track of personal details about each high-value simp. Birthdays, job info, personal struggles they'd shared, what compliments they responded to best. It was like a dating spreadsheet, except the goal wasn't actually dating, just extracting maximum donations. I broke everything down into folders with the precision of a military operation, each one hitting harder than the last. There was one packed with screenshots from her bios and tweets where she claimed to be single, even joked about taking boyfriend applications on stream. Another folder showed how she was running the same emotional script on multiple donors, feeding them identical personal secrets, making each one feel like he was the exception. Then came the comparison shots. How she acted with me in private versus the fake flirty persona she pushed online, along with all the lies about where she was going and who she was talking to. The final folder was the nail in the coffin, proof that even after saying yes to my proposal, she kept hiding the engagement while stringing along those fake relationships like nothing changed. I even found receipts showing she was sending personalized videos to certain donors. Nothing explicitly sexual, but definitely borderline. Good morning videos from her bed, actually our bed, whispered good night messages, videos where she'd address them by name and thank them for always understanding the real her. The absolute worst thing I found came through my burner account. Just 3 weeks after creating Phoenix Rising, I got invited to one of her inner circle Discord calls with 5 other top donors. The topic that night? Their special connections with Lexi. I was in our spare bedroom with headphones on while she streamed in her office, completely unaware I was on the call. "My fiancé is such a fucking moron, bro," she laughed, not knowing I was recording every word. "Thinks I'm actually going to marry him. As if I'd give up all this for some boring finance bro. He's convenient for now. Free rent and tech support, am I right?" The other simps laughed along, totally oblivious that they were just as expendable to her as I was. "He actually proposed with this tiny-ass diamond. Like, am I supposed to be impressed? I'd rather have another gaming PC than that ring," she continued, while I sat there clenching my fists, listening to her mock the $8,000 ring I'd saved for 6 months to buy. The same ring sitting unused in her jewelry box. That call changed everything. My plan crystallized that night. 2 weeks later, on the morning of her anniversary stream, I left for work as usual, told her I'd ordered flowers to be delivered during her broadcast as a surprise. As soon as I was out the door, I went to my favorite coffee shop, ordered the largest dark roast they had, and pulled out my phone. I'd been collecting evidence for weeks, and now it was time to use it. Unlike Lexi, I barely used social media. My Instagram had maybe one post every couple months. Just hiking trips, the occasional concert, normal shit. Had about 600 followers, mostly friends, coworkers, and people from our social circle. I rarely posted stories and never did those cringy inspirational captions. Just normal dude stuff. But that morning, I posted a 10-slide carousel to my regular account. First slide was simple text. Your favorite single Twitch streamer has been running a scam on all of you. Swipe to see how she manipulates her donors while secretly being engaged. The other slides were the receipts. Screenshots of her calling different donors the only one who gets me. Her talking shit about her top supporters behind their backs. Her telling her Discord simps she was single while wearing my engagement ring off camera. And definitely a recording of her laughing about how pathetic her donors were for thinking they had a chance with her. Caption was simple. She always said being single was good for business. Now she gets to be single for real. I tagged her account and hit post, then put my phone in my pocket and went to catch that new action movie everyone was talking about. Enjoyed my popcorn and the explosions on screen, something oddly satisfying about watching shit blow up on the big screen. When I checked my phone after the movie, my post had blown up. What made it so perfect? Her friends saw it first. All those mutual connections who followed both of us. They were the initial wave that spread it everywhere. The same people who'd been at our engagement party were now sharing my post with comments like, always knew something was off, and this explains so much. By the time her actual fans and donors saw it, her inner circle had already turned on her. Her actual best friend, who'd been her mod since day one, apparently went live on her own tiny channel to confirm everything in my post was true. Said she'd been uncomfortable with Lexi's business tactics for months. According to my buddy Dave, who was watching her anniversary stream out of curiosity, about 45 minutes in her chat suddenly exploded with links to my Instagram post. Her mods couldn't delete comments fast enough. Someone donated $50 just to have text-to-speech read out, "Why does your fiancé's ring cost less than my donations last month?" on stream. The look on her face, man. Dave sent me a clip. She was mid-sentence thanking someone for a donation when she saw the chat blowing up. Her fake smile just cracked. Eyes wide, face pale, complete deer in headlights. Tried to play it off as internet trolls being trolls, but you could see the panic. She ended the stream about 2 minutes later, claiming she wasn't feeling well. I never went back to the apartment. Just texted the property manager that I wouldn't be renewing the lease, it was in my name anyway, and that my ex could stay till the end of the month. Left a note on her PC. Engagements off. Rents paid through the month. Good luck with your content. The aftermath was exactly what you'd expect. My phone blew up with calls and texts. You freaking psycho, what did you do? Please, baby, we can work this out. Please call me. I'm going to sue you for everything you have. My career is ruined because of you. Please just talk to me. Blocked her number, deactivated my Instagram, changed my email. Her Discord imploded within hours. These dudes who'd been sending her hundreds of dollars a month suddenly realized they weren't special. They were all getting fed the same lines. One of her mods leaked a year's worth of DMS, where she'd been stringing him along. Another donor posted voice messages where she trash-talked other donors right after taking their money. From what mutual friends told me, she tried every damage control move in the book, crying TikToks about being harassed, claiming screenshots were fake, saying donors misunderstood her friendly banter. But her follower count dropped by half overnight. Twitch even suspended her account pending investigation, and she actually tried to sue me for defamation about 2 weeks after everything went down. Probably thought she could scare me into silence. My lawyer just forwarded her attorney the full, unedited folder of receipts. Screenshots, audio files, videos, Discord logs, all of it. Not a single thing was faked. Not a single line out of context. Case got dropped so fast it might as well have been an email spam filter doing the review. Word is, she took the loss hard. Her follower count tanked from 60,000 to just under 20,000 almost overnight. Sponsorships dried up. Her VIP simps either ghosted or turned on her. And yeah, she tried pivoting. Did the whole couple content thing with some mid-tier FPS streamer. They went live together like it was all sunshine and serotonin, but you could see it on her face. The panic behind the fake laughs, the smile that didn't reach her eyes. Her content lost that manufactured intimacy she built everything on, and without it, she was just noise in a saturated market. Meanwhile, I leveled up. New apartment. Back in the gym. Back with my old crew. Got myself back. Felt like I'd stepped out of a fog I didn't realize I'd been living in. And yeah, I started seeing someone new. She's a wildlife photographer. No Twitch, no TikTok, no curated persona. She's got like 200 Instagram followers, and most of them are probably her cousins and coworkers. On our third date, she took me to this insane lookout spot deep in a state park. No service, no distractions. Just us and the view. Doesn't it bother you that you can't post this? I joked. She glanced at the sky, then back at me. I don't care about the algorithm, she said. I care about what's real. After 2 years with someone who faked every emotion for clout and cash, that hit like a reset button. But Lexi? She didn't go quietly. The silence lasted maybe 6 weeks before she started reaching out again. First through mutuals. Then from burner accounts. Then, eventually, a handwritten letter, 4 pages, full of regret, nostalgia, and half-baked apologies. She said she missed our quiet mornings and the way I made her feel grounded. Said she wasn't thinking straight back then, that she got lost in the content grind and forgot what real love felt like. Said she wanted to talk, to explain, to make things right. Promised she was in therapy now, not like that anymore, and finally seeing things clearly. I didn't reply. Because here's the thing, when someone shows you who they really are, you don't circle back. You build better. You build with someone who doesn't need a camera on to be present. You move on, and you don't look back. And just like she said, single is good for business. Now she gets to live it, for real.